Ebullient greetings. I'm your host, Jacquie Bird of Jacquie Bird Spiritual Wellness, your guide to stress and anxiety relief, mindfulness, awareness, self-care, self-love, and personal growth. Welcome and thank you for joining me as we roll with peace in mind. Today's riff is Breathing Deep, a mind-body-soul medicine. This is part 2. Part 1 was the very launch of this podcast, episode number 1 of the same title. But in this episode, well, you'll find out. It's a little different from that very first episode, and it takes you further and more deeply into breathing techniques. Oh, well, I said it already. Now, in case you are listening and you go, okay, I hear what you're saying, Bird, but I want to see it. Well, fear not. There is a sister blog post. The companion video to this episode is in that blog post. So you can check that out. You can see and hear what I'm saying. But right now, this will just get you going while you're in the car or doing chores or whatever it is you're doing when you listen to this podcast. And also, end of the month, guided meditation chill out last Sunday. The next one is coming up February 27th. And every last Sunday, come on through. The link to that is in the show description. Now, I have a meditation coming up. I had to reschedule it. It is called Meditation. It's Not What You Think. And it is a guided meditation and journaling workshop because that's how I like to roll. And this is like straight up meditation 101. You never meditated or you have tried and you're having, some issues with getting it going. This workshop is for you. So it has been rescheduled to March 12th and 13th. 4 slots to choose from. Want to see you up in there via Zoom. And without further ado, as I like to say, I'm going to talk a little bit about breathing techniques. Now, there are a plethora of ways to breathe. I'm going to talk about 4 of them. The first one is like super duper easy. You can do it anywhere at any time that you need to do it. And it's breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. So wherever you are, have yourself in an upright position. If you're standing up, if you're sitting down. And I'll just tell you, initially, if you're not used to taking in deep breaths, you may get a little lightheaded. So when you find that happening, stop and breathe naturally. So the first one is just in through the nose and out through the nose. And what I like to do is have the exhale longer than the inhale. I'm going to start on a count of 4 for the inhalation and breathe out on 5. So it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get started. Feeling yourself relaxing. Just taking in the sound and breathe in. Exhaling through the nose. Count of 5. Breathe in. Exhaling. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling 5. One more, breathing in. Exhaling. Very simple. You can do it at any pace, any rate that you want. And what I like to do to challenge for this exercise is to extend the amount of time that you're breathing. So you may start at 4, you may want to start at 2, it depends. But let's say you start at 4, then you do it for a few reps. Let's say you do it for 3 and you start to feel yourself relaxing. Then you bump it up to 5, inhaling on 5 and exhaling on 6. You always want to have your exhalation longer than your inhalation. So that was breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. The next one is breathing in through the nose, but you're going to exhale through your mouth. And what I like about this is you have choices. You can exhale on the sound of sss. And that reminds me of, like, you know, when you punch a balloon and you hear the air coming out. So you can do that with the sound of s. You can do the sound of ha on the exhalation. That tends to make people a little uncomfortable. So if you're not comfortable with that sound, do s. Or you can do the sound of he. So you have these options. For our purposes right now, we're going to inhale through the nose and we're going to exhale on the sound of s. So again, it's that balloon, you popped it with a pin and that sound just out. On the count of 4, inhaling. On the count of 5, exhaling. And breathing in through the nose. Breathe in. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And breathe on your own time. You might have noticed that I slowed the pace down a little bit, and you want to do that over time. You want to slow it down, even though you may be using the same amount of counts. But you want to slow the pace down, because ultimately it is about the breath. It is about the feeling of the breath. It is about how the breath moves through your body and how you begin to let go of all the little nooks and crannies that we hold stress and tension in. You want to begin to melt that. So don't make this so cerebral where you're going, oh, I didn't do that long enough, or I didn't hold that long enough. Just feel the air moving into and out of your body. That's the most important thing of really becoming one with the breath itself, and not get hung up on the execution of the exercise. Because now, again, it's cerebral. It becomes more of your mental chatter going on. And this, the point of these breathing exercises is to get that quiet, that mental chatter quiet. The next exercise is called, in some circles, the diaphragmatic breathing. And what you're doing, and it's a little bit more involved, is you're extending the stomach so that you're pushing the stomach outward, and then you're pulling or contracting the stomach muscles in. So on the inhale, the stomach muscles push outward, your stomach pushes outward. On the exhalation, you are squeezing or contracting your stomach muscles inward. Now, what's interesting, I learned this exercise as a singer, and the way that we were instructed to practice, or I was instructed to practice, is lying down on my back with a book. And that was a little rough, pushing that book upward and then letting the book slowly come down as the stomach muscles come in. So that's a challenge if you want to challenge yourself to add that element of the book on your stomach in a prone position. Right now, we're going to do it either seated or standing up. And again, if you begin to feel lightheaded, stop. So again, on the inhalation, we'll do it on a count of 4 and an exhalation on 5. The exhalation will be with the mouth open, and you'll do it on a ha. And on that ha, those stomach muscles contract and pull in. So here we go. Feeling yourself in an upright position as before, whether you're seated or standing. If you're lying down, if you go for the challenge, make sure that your spine is long on the floor and that your lower back, most important, that your lower back is on the floor. So you don't want to arch. You want to make sure, particularly my ladies who get that little sway back due to heels sometimes or just your posture, you want to think in terms of the hip bones being forward, pulling up in your center so that you're going for as straight and long a spine as possible, also not caving in the shoulders. So that's part of the breathing exercises too, is your posture. So you want to feel that this is open, but not pushing forward so that you begin to arch. Don't worry about that so much. I'm just telling you this now for as you begin to practice and you want to improve on your practice, your posture is very important. So here we are, breathing in through the nose, pushing the stomach muscles outward, and then exhaling, pushing the stomach muscles in or contracting the muscles in, breathing out on ha. Here we go. Relaxing, breathing in, stomach muscles out. Exhaling on. Breathing in. Exhaling. Breathing in. Exhaling. Breathing in. Exhaling. And sit still and quietly for a moment, breathing on your own time. Slowly opening your eyes. Whenever you do a breathing exercise, you want to have a pause between the end of the exercise and whatever you're getting ready to do. So you don't want to breathe and then jump up and start doing something, unless it's an emergency. But you want to give your body a moment to acclimate, take in all of that oxygen, absorb it, feel it in your body, feel the effects of the calming before you move on to the next thing. And also initially, as noted earlier, in the beginning you're going to feel possibly a little lightheaded. In those situations, stop. If you're feeling lightheaded as you're doing the exercise, just stop. Sit still and breathe on your own time. Never push more than you're actually ready for. And in time, it gets easier, you get more accustomed to taking in that amount of air, and you're able to increase the amount of air as a result of the exercising. Because again, you're working muscles that may not be quite used to what you're doing. So be patient, take your time, don't rush. The last exercise, it is called Jacquie breathing or victory breath. I learned this, actually I was first introduced to it as a singer. It wasn't given a name, it was just, this is how you do it. And I find this to be, for me personally, the best way to get the most breath and air and support into my body. I was next introduced to it through Ashtanga yoga. And I love this form of breathing. It really feels like I'm expanding when I'm breathing in this manner. Unlike the diaphragmatic breathing where you're relaxing and contracting your stomach muscles, in Jacquie breath your stomach muscles remain in the contracted position. And what you're doing basically, it's almost like bellows or an accordion where your sides, your rib cage expands. Wow. I found out about this actually when I was in college. I had a choreography class and I had the wonderful Marco Sanjo, And she showed us this form of breathing. She was talking about how we as dancers didn't breathe, and which we didn't. But watching her, she was a very, very petite lady. She didn't have an ounce of fat on her. And I remembered she turned with her back. We were all seated, and she turned, and I'm telling you, her back just went whoo, and then back in her sides. But we're looking at her back, so we're watching this, and we're like, wow. That's funny, that just came back to me. I digress. But anyway, on to the exercise. This takes a little bit more doing. The added thing with Ujjayi breathing is that there's a sound at the back of your mouth, and it sounds like the ocean. And so that may take a little bit longer to get that actual sound, but I'm going to demonstrate. I love this method. It's very, very calming once you get the hang of it. Because it took a minute for me to get it. It really did. But with practice, it gets easier. And some of you may get it like that. So again, you're keeping your stomach muscles in. They don't release at all. And it's more about expanding the rib cage so that this part of your body goes outward. So I'm going to do it again. Try it with me. In 4, out 5. So in an upright position, relaxing your body, your muscles, but not relaxing in this manner, keeping yourself upright. And we begin. And just sit for a moment quietly, eyes closed, body upright. Slowly open your eyes. No matter which one you choose to tackle first, be diligent, practice, and eventually it will become second nature for you. And when you are facing some tough decisions, some tough times, you will automatically be able to go into the calming phase, which is always with the breath. Really having a breathing practice is a savior, because when you feel that pressure, you just stop and take a deep breath, and you can choose any of those methods that I described. Oh, speaking of description, reminding you, go to my blog post, go to the sister post. It has the video that this audio is taken from, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about and all that good stuff. And reminding you, the end of this month, the last Sunday, is my end of the month chill out. 30 minutes just to release, relax, let go. March 12th, 17th, meditation is not what you think. That is a workshop. It's 60 minutes, guided meditation and journaling. Want to see you up in there. Please consider becoming a patron of this podcast. You can do so on my website, JackieBirdSpiritualWellness.com. That's JackieBird.com. And while you're there, you also will find Music, I have music for sleep, meditation and yoga, and also Rejuvenate Me. There's guided meditation videos, there are audiobooks, and there are ebooks. You can also book a session with me. Those sessions are all virtual, so you can get me anywhere you are in the world. And I thank you so much for listening. Remember to roll with peace in mind.